today we are going to further understand two more important topics about the cell. So listen it very carefully because these two topics are very important. Topics are the cell wall. Second, it is the nucleus. So let's start. Cell wall. So this is the what? This is the diagram. ये क्या diagram है cell wall का? Cell. This is the cell. Then this is the middle lamella. Okay. Then this is the secondary wall and this is the primary wall. Now let's come to the point कि cell wall होती क्या है? What is the cell wall? Cell wall is the rigid outer layer which surrounds the cell membrane. ये देखो, it's a rigid outer layer that surrounds the cell membrane. मतलब ये क्या है? Rigid. It is a rigid outer layer that is surrounding the cell membrane in certain organism, providing what it provides. It provides support, provide करता है. Then it maintains the shape of the cell and it provides the protection also. So it's found in plants, fungi, most bacteria and the protist also. So unlike the cell membrane, cell walls are generally permeable or it can be selectively permeable also. अब हमें कैसे पता चलेगा? It depends upon the organism. कैसा organism है? So this was about the what? Cell wall. Now key aspects of the cell wall. First we are going to see that what is the composition. उससे पहले हम लोग ये सोचेंगे कि जो सेल वॉल है, the cell wall is present only in plants. Is it present in animals and the human being? So the answer is no. क्यों? Why? Answer is that's why the no, because in the plant cells the cell wall is made up of what? Cellulose. That cellulose we cannot digest by the human beings and the animals. But one person is there who can digest, that is the ruminant cattle. Ruminant cattle can digest. Why? कैसे वो digest कर सकती हैं वो? Because क्या होता है in their gut a bacteria is present. जो वो bacteria है, that bacteria is what doing? Bacteria is secreting. It secretes the cellular enzyme. That's why from जो वो secrete करता है cellular enzyme को, from that what they do, they can easily digest this cellulose. So in their body, the plant cell is present. Plants of the cell wall is primarily made up of the cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, and pectin. In fungi, chitin is a major component, and while bacteria have peptidoglycan. ओके बैक्टीरिया में किससे बने हुए हैं वो लोग? पेप्टिडोग्लाइकेन. एंड इन दी फंजाई इट इज मेड अप ऑफ द काइटिन. एंड फंक्शंस, व्हाट इज द फंक्शन ऑफ इट्स? मींस आपका सेल वॉल का क्या फंक्शन है? स्ट्रक्चरल सपोर्ट. It provides the cell the structural support, provide the cell will provide the cell with its shape and helps it withstand mechanical stress. Then protection, it also provides. It protects the cell from physical damage and pathogens. So what they do? They provide भी क्या करता है आपको? Protect करता है. Protects the cell. Cell walls जो है, cell wall protects the cell from the physical damage and the pathogens. Then permeability. Permeability, well generally permeable, cell walls can be selectively permeable, regulating the movement of substance into and out of the cell. So it can be, अगर generally क्या अगर वो permeable है तो cell walls कैसे हो जाएंगे हमारे? Selectively permeable. So what they will do? They will regulate the movement of substance from the into and out of the cell. Now storage of the cell wall, what happens? In some cases में क्या होता है? Cell wall can store the carbohydrate. कुछ ऐसे भी केस होते हैं. There are some few cases also that the cell wall is storing the carbohydrate also. Communication, if we see plasmodemata, pores or channels in the cell wall allow the communication between the plant cell. Now, how they communicate? The communication is from what? Plasmodemata means the pores or channels. उन pores और channels से क्या होता है? They communicate within the plant cells. Now structure. So the layers, if we see plant cell walls can have three layers, the middle lamella, primary cell wall and the secondary cell wall. Not all cells have a secondary cell wall. So जो ये है आपका plant cell can have the three layers बना हुआ, that is the middle lamella, primary cell wall and the secondary cell wall. Microfibrils and plant cell wall cellulose microfibrils जो है are arranged in a network में arrange होते हैं providing tensional strength. Example अगर हम देखें cell wall composition to plants primarily cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin and pectin. And we see the fungi primarily chitin and in the bacteria primarily peptidoglycan. So this was all about what? Cell wall. Cell wall का हमने structure देखा, we have seen the structure of the cell wall, and then we have seen what is the cell wall, क्या होता है, its structure also we have seen and its function also. Now अब आता है, now comes the headquarter of the cell. Cell का headquarter. Who is the headquarter of the cell? Nucleus. So this is the nucleus. Nucleus is the headquarter of the cell. So ये बहुत important point है. This is a very important point. You have to learn attentively. So nucleus, if we see, this is the nuclear membrane. What is this? This is the nuclear membrane. Now what is the nuclear membrane? ये सब हम लोग देखेंगे, but let's see. First इसको देख लो, एक बार understand कर लो इसका diagram कैसा होता है, कैसा इसका structure है. So it present the nuclear membrane, then the nuclear pores. This is the nucleus, nuclear plasma, and this is the chromatin thread. Now what is this? अब हम लोग देखेंगे कि न्यूक्लियस क्या होता है. न्यूक्लियस इज अ डबल membrane bound organelle which has a dense protoplasmic body. न्यूक्लियस क्या है? न्यूक्लियस इज अ membrane bound organelle bound in eukaryotic cells में होता है. It contains the cell's genetic material. Now इसको हम लोग बाद में देखेंगे. First we will understand what is the nucleus. Nucleus is the double membrane. It is a dense protoplasmic body. न्यूक्लियस को हम लोग हेडक्वार्टर ऑफ सेल क्यों कहते हैं? बिकॉज ऐसा माना जाता है दैट न्यूक्लियस क्या है? न्यूक्लियस इज द controller or the director of the cell because it controls the metabolism. वो उसका metabolic activity को control करता है. And it has the cells का what? DNA. पूरा आपका genetic material it present. It contains cell genetic material DNA. It serve as a control center of the cell, regulating gene expression. DNA replication होता है हमारा, DNA replication and cellular activity. So D आपका nucleus is a very important part. And nucleus was discovered by whom? Robert Brown. हमने study किया था in the beginning of this lecture. In the beginning of the cell, we have learned about that. We have learned these discoveries of cell. उसमें हमने ये देखा था. In the first lecture only, I think so. In the first lecture, we have learned that जो nucleus was discovered by whom? Robert Brown. In the what? In which year? 1831. Now, key features of nucleus. First, इससे पहले हम ये देखेंगे कि न्यूक्लियस को कितने कंपोनेंट्स में डिवाइड किया गया है. Nucleus is divided into four components, that is the nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, nucleus and chromatin thread. इनके और भी names हैं, they have the different names also. So nuclear envelope, अब ये कहाँ से आया? It means only what? Nuclear membrane. So you can say it nuclear membrane, you can say nuclear envelope or chirothecia. Then second is the nucleoplasm. You can say nucleoplasm, nuclear matrix or the chiroplasm. Then this is the nucleus and the chromatin thread. And there is the nuclear pores also present. So let's start. Nuclear envelope, a double membrane that separates the nucleus from what? Cytoplasm and the nucleoplasm with the nuclear pores regulating molecule transport. Now nucleoplasm is what? The gel-like matrix inside the nucleus where other components are suspended. The third point there is the chromatin. We can say the chromatin threads also, or we can say the chromatin network or chromatin reticulum. तो डीएनए रैप्ड हो जाते, दे आर व्हाट, अब जो क्रोमेटिन थ्रेड होते हैं ना, व्हाट आर दी क्रोमेटिन थ्रेड्स, दे आर द डार्केस्ट चेन्ड इंटरमिंगल आपके थ्रेड्स होते हैं. They are the DNA wrapped around the histone proteins, which condenses into the chromosome during the cell division. जब होता है तो it secretes the condenses the what chromosome. Then the nucleus, a dense region where ribosomal RNA means RNA synthesized होता है and ribosome assembly begins. Now nuclear pores. Now what is a nuclear pore? Protein lined channels that allow the selectively exchange of molecules. From these pores only what happens? The transport happens of the molecules between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Now if we see, there is one point also, that the protein synthesis in which organelle, that is in the nucleus. Okay, then produces ribosome in the nucleus for the protein synthesis, which is the necessary function of the nucleus. ये क्या है? nucleus का function है. So stores and protects the genetic material. It stores and it protects what? The genetic material. DNA protect करता है ये आपका. Then come to the gene expression. Regulate the cell growth, metabolism and reproduction. So this was all about the न्यूक्लियस एंड दी सेल वॉल. ये आज हमने पढ़ा है. सो प्लीज, दिस इज द हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम मी दैट प्लीज रिवाइज, क्योंकि इसके आगे जब हम पढ़ेंगे फर्दर, जब हम लोग नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में जो टॉपिक्स वी आर गोइंग टू कवर, दे आर वेरी डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा इफ यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू रिवाइज. सो प्लीज रिवाइज करना. ओके, एंड आई होप दैट ये लेक्चर आपको समझ में आया होगा. इट हैज बीन क्लियर टू यू. या, so we will meet in the next lecture then for that. So take care and bye.